Sasha Banks Naomi drama continue. Joey Janela can't seem to put fire out. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned to the latest news and rumors on Shoot from the Hip GOW style. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once again for tuning in to another episode of Generational Wrestling Podcast. As always, is yours truly, the 28-year-old piece of gold, the franchise, aka the showstopper, better known as the GOW's resident tribal chief. And with me, as always, I got my tag team partner, my brother, my family. He is the flyest in the room, Mr. 1, 2, 3. Pin that ass down, K Breezy, aka Eastie's resident Isaac Hayes, King Too Cold in the building. Bro, what's going on?
Man, you know what is good, man. It's Sunday, man. You know, we got playoff basketball. We got wrestling to talk about. It was a rainy, kind of gloomy day today, but hopefully, you know, tomorrow will be a little bit better. But other than that, man, man, we got to talk to the people, man. You know, we got to get some things off our chest, man. So, you know, let's get this thing started.
Well, speaking of getting some things off our chest, as I'm sitting here on Facebook right now, first of all, I want to thank Mrs. Tuco for the great promotion of the GOW brand. I just seen it just now on Facebook 7 minutes ago. Thank you so much.
Mr. Tuco. Thank you, Mr. Tuco.
You are the GOAT. Yes, bad. All right.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
But you know, it is what it is. Hey, we from the inner city. We don't see these things every day.
Right. That's true. That is true.
Oh man, you see a goat down St. Clair, something going awry.
Oh, like right. That is not supposed to be there. Oh man.
But Tuco, man, there's a couple things we want to talk about. As you know, we do, man. When we do these shooting from the hips, you know, typically we come in with an agenda, and then sometimes, man, you know, we just kind of veer off and do what we do. We said an hour, and we jokingly say every time we put a time limit on something, man, it just goes dramatically past. So if we said an hour, who knows how long this is gonna go? But so a couple of the key things that we do know we want to talk about, obviously, Sasha Banks Naomi situation. I want to talk to you about the bloodline, you know, winning all the gold. I want to talk to you about little Joey Janela and his whole little incident, man. And then we're just gonna go from there, man. Just see wherever the conversation takes us. So, Tuco, man. All right, still, here we are, right? Over a week, almost 2 weeks now, I believe.
About
a week. Damn, that
week. You can say a week.
Dude. It's I swear, dude, like this shit has been going on for only a week, but it's been so in your face. It feel like it's been longer than that, bro. I feel like the corona all over again. It's like, dude, all day, every day. Kev, what's up, man? It's like all day, every day.
What up, Kev?
We've been hearing about Sasha Naomi, and you and I, we were talking earlier that if this is work, it's a hell of a work. But I mean, I think it's obvious to me and you and a lot of other people that this is serious. And the online wrestling fan base, man, the online community, the IC, the IWC, I should say, bruh, it's weird. It's really weird. You and I, we had this discussion just at how ignorant and oblivious people are choosing to be, right? You know, they seem to put their WWE blinders on when they pick and choose. You know, they pick and choose spots because, you know, these are a lot of people who were bitching and complaining, excuse me for the foul language such early in the show, but you got people, man, that was complaining about WWE, you know, every time they do a match release, Vince McMahon is just this big, evil, greedy corporate bastard, right? Who doesn't care nothing about nobody, and, you know, the way WWE do things is so just unethical and XYZ. And then those same people now are saying pretty much like me and you said, kind of in relation to basketball, you know, shut up and dribble. You know, you're getting paid all this money. You shouldn't be unhappy or dissatisfied. What do you have to complain about? You're rich, you're famous, you got this, you got that. But I think a lot of people don't understand at the end of the day, it's still a job, right? And if you're unhappy with your job, no amount of money in the world, if you feel like you're not getting paid or you're not getting respect or giving your worth or your just due, no amount of money in the world is going to suffice for long. Eventually, you're going to get tired of it. Tuco, man, let's jump right into it. You and I, again, a discussion we had. We try to kind of piece together and formulate an opinion or thought. Are people really mad at the way Sasha Banks Naomi left? because of it being quote unquote unprofessional, or because of who they are, and the undertones of things. Because at times I can't say, it almost seems a little racially biased, right? And you got people, every time there's a situation that comes up with race, right? You always got those deflectors and detractors who try to spin it another direction. One of those instances was, the whole, when Stone Cold Steve Austin left, The Rock, he went out on air. Yeah, that's true. But at the same, and you got other instances like, with CM Punk getting trolled by Stephanie in WWE for a while and things like that. But I don't think they went out of their way to keep it going to the level they have with Naomi and Sasha. To me, this almost feels like a stay in your place type of thing. Everything I just said, man, Tuco, please give me your thoughts, man, unfiltered. Talk as long as you need to, brother.
To answer the beginning of your question, what is it exactly that, and the reason why people are saying what they're saying? It's everything. It's all of that, because you have to take into consideration, man, that one, yes, though these wrestlers may make more money than we do, they don't make millions. If you really know wrestling, wrestlers really don't make a lot of money. These people are not. If you're the top brand, you're Roman Reigns, you're Brock Lesnar, you're John Cena, you're Randy Orton, uh, Cody Rhodes, you're making millions. If you're everybody else, you're not even making half a million. Okay, it depends on who you are, and what you're getting. You're not making a whole lot. Now you're making more than us, sure, but they're not making basketball players or baseball players or football players. They're not even making
Well,
hockey or soccer player money. They're not
well,
even making WNBA money.
what can I chime in real quick before you finish your point? And it's funny
Like, go
because
ahead.
even, let's say, even if you're making like 100,000, right, which is pretty sure people are between 100 and 250,000 range on the low end. So
Right.
you're looking at six figures, but when you think about the fact that, from what we hear, they pay for their own travel most of the time. So a lot of them carpool. You're paying for your own hotels. If you're wrestling 300 days out the year, you home once or twice a week. Minus maybe the traveling by plane. Yeah, you're making all this money, but you're spending all this money as well. So what good is $100,000 if you're spending probably 10 to 15 traveling and expenses like that just alone? But I'm sorry, go ahead, brother.
No. That's a very great point, because that matter of fact, that furthers my point even more, because people aren't looking at that. You don't take If you don't really know wrestling, you're just kind of bitching just to be bitching. And that's one thing. But man, it's one thing to know, well, these people don't really make a whole lot. So to use that narrative that, well,
Yeah.
they're making a whole lot of money, they should be happy, they shouldn't be complaining. Man, they're making more money than maybe you are, but they're not
Right.
making the money you think they are. Now, that's
Right.
one thing. Another thing is, okay, let's go ahead and get this out the way. Yes,
Yeah.
I do think that there is some color bias. There's always been this notion that black people, that some people view us as being complainers and lazy, and think everything should be handed to us because of what's happened to us.
Hi, Lonnie.
Leah, Lonnie, what's going on? And there's always been that narrative, towards us, that we're just whiner and complainers. And you do have some people that are basing their opinion based on that. Like, it's just, oh, what are they whining and complaining about? They should be happy that you're playing, you're wrestling, and you're doing wrestling and you're making this money, you're the star and you're doing all this. So yeah, it is kind of that shut up and just dribble, or shut up and just wrestle and go out there and do what you're supposed to do mentality. And it's not necessarily that, when you know that these people put in the work, and
Yeah.
we just watched the documentary on Sasha Banks. They just did an evil series on her. We saw what she had to do to get herself in. Yeah, you can say, well, she's cousins of Snoop, and yeah, okay, Snoop might have had to play a little part into it, but it's not the same as for Charlotte Flair,
Hey, Kim.
where your father, what's going on, Cameron? It's not where your father is the 16-time, two-time Hall of Famer, Mr. Jet Flying Limousine riding, kiss
Kiss
stealing,
Dylan.
Willie Dillon,
Yeah.
whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's who your father is. That's a different dynamic. But she still had to work. When she first got into the
Right.
business, it didn't get over. She had to find her character. She found her character, and she became one of the hottest characters in the company. Granted, yes, you can say is Sasha Banks injury prone. Sure, yeah, yeah, she's had her bad breaks at injury, but in this business, for what they do, the style, you got to think about the style of what these women are wrestling now, and that's what gets us as fans so excited about these women wrestlers now because they're wrestling a totally different style. Their style is a little
Yeah.
bit more reckless. So
Yeah.
yeah, their injuries are going to come a little bit more frequently. Some people more than others, but that still doesn't take away from her star power. We mess with Flawless because Flawless feels that way about Sasha Banks,
Right.
and
Right.
even though Flawless will brag on her about that, he does not deny that her uh she is a star. Like, yeah, she's got stars, she's a character, she's marketable, but she's injury prone. That's always been his thing. And with a lot of other people, they've always seen that way too. But I still feel that she's she has a point when it comes to her direction as a character. When you
Yeah.
have somebody that is one not bad on a promo, her character gets over with the people, boo her or cheer her, she gets the reaction, and she's a good worker in the ring. You don't always have to put them at the top, but
Yeah.
sometimes when you always want to be put in a situation where it makes sense. And sometimes when you see people get to a position where, yo, they got a little cachet and they don't have to bend over so much to what the corporation wants, and they can kind
Right.
of give more of their voice, you want to use that. For a person like Sasha Banks, she wanted to use that. No different than Charlotte Flair, no different than Becky, no different than anybody else that voices their opinion when they know they're good at what they do and they're making a difference.
Right.
But you don't you when you don't have nothing for them to do, you know what I'm saying? You just have them sitting at the wayside doing nothing. And then it goes from being a week or two to months. That's the problem with Naomi. So it's like with Naomi, it's like Naomi's issue is she's been back from injury for a minute, but she hasn't done much. The
Yeah.
whole Sonya Deville storyline, that was so stop and go because there were original plans for her and Sonya to end up at WrestleMania, but the problem was they weren't on TV for 2 to 3 weeks. We
Yeah.
even said it, yo, where's Naomi? How is she somebody that's a good worker in the ring? She's over with the people. People have gone online to complain about how the fact you have Naomi on your roster, but you're
Yeah.
not using her, and yet you keep using the same old people and doing the same stuff when you have other people you can use that we want to see. We want to see these people.
Right.
So from her standpoint, I get it. Now, when you look at the fact that for WWE, now I hit on the fact that people look at their money and say, oh, they shouldn't complain. Some people look at their color and they have their thought of what they feel about certain groups of people or whatever. And you also now have the respect that people earn. Regardless if you want to say Sasha Banks and Naomi are on the level of a Stone Cold Steve Austin or anything like that, they are two people who are
Yeah.
over. When Sasha Banks comes out, people are excited to see her. If she's a heel, they're ready to boo her. That's
Mm-hmm.
a character that is over. I always say, if they cheer you and boo you, you are doing something great. When they
Right.
don't say nothing,
That's the
that's
problem.
when you got a problem.
Yeah.
She is not that person, and neither is Naomi. And I understand that you have a direction in how you want to go about storylines and building characters. But the problem with WWE as fans that we have been noticing and we have been questioning is where's the patience? Where's the where's the quality in the creative? You want to brag about having the biggest stars and all this other stuff, but all you've been doing is bringing back legends and forcing them upon us and burying the new talent that you need to bring up. You have
Right.
no confidence in none of the people that you have on your roster. There's a reason we had the mass releases outside of COVID. Okay.
Yeah.
Outside of that, there's a reason we had these mass releases.
Right.
But you bring it back Goldberg to squash people that Kevin Owens should be bigger than what he is now.
Oh,
Sami Zayn should be bigger than what he is now. You have
yes.
so many wrestlers that we've been seeing and cheering and want to do more that
Right.
you're wasting them. And it takes for them to almost it takes for their contract to run out, and you don't want them to up and leave and go to AEW, which
Yeah.
by the way, the only reason a lot of wrestlers feel more empowered now is because of the last 3 years. For
Oh
20
yeah.
plus years, WWE was the place. TNA did their thing for a while, but a lot of people would say when Bischoff and Hogan showed up, that's when it went to shit. But it was an alternative. Okay, TNA was never going to be as big as WWE, but it had a few things that were different, and it was an alternative for other people to go and keep
Right.
themselves relevant and keep making money. Again, these wrestlers aren't making the same amount of money you think they're making. If they're if their faces on the marquee, they're making millions or they're making close to it. But if their face ain't on the marquee, man, they making 15, 20, 30, $50,000. They making what you making a year. Okay.
Right.
So, and again, they have to pay for their own travel. They have to pay for all their own stuff. Okay. Now to frame all that, I understand some people's part understanding when they talk about Sasha Banks. Yeah, sometimes it does kind of come off as divish, not just with her, but with other people when you hear the complaining of certain things. But when you look at a company that is not producing stars, there is stop and go. Too many times we've seen people be stop and go, and
Yeah.
it's like, why don't we see them more? Or why did you do this? Or why are you doing that? Or who is this person that you're trying to push to be this great new person, but then we don't see them for the next three weeks to a month, 2 months. It's too much. You have too many people, too many characters. You're not developing people.
Right.
And for whatever reason, there are folks who choose to overlook that because they've been drinking the Kool-Aid for so long. We've been all drinking the WWE Kool-Aid. Some of us, it weared off on us after a while, and it didn't have the same effect. And we started seeing the truth. And a lot of people don't want to see the truth. A lot of people don't want to look at AEW as an alternative. They just want to look at it as some cheap ripoff. Okay, all right, you gotta. I don't even want to say you got a point, but it's not a cheap rip off because it already established itself as something different. It's not there it's there to be an alternative. So when you go ahead, man.
Oh no. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. You're right. No,
No,
go ahead.
but with that, man, it's having that you have people that are now conscious of
Yeah.
what's going on. Okay, they're not. I, Naomi and Sasha Banks are ungrateful that they had an opportunity in WWE. They are very grateful that they had this opportunity in WWE. But again, when you are doing something and you're making noise and you're being something that people want to see, people are cheering to want to see you. People want to see you do matches. They want to see you, regardless to what it is, but they want to see you do something meaningful. We're not seeing these women do anything meaningful. They haven't done anything meaningful with the women's tag team division since they
Yeah.
put it together. It started out looking like it was going to be that, but then it
Right.
didn't. You told me earlier one of the big reasons why they didn't allow Sasha and Naomi to go to NXT is because of Toxic Attraction and Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose ain't got nothing to do with anything. You can leave Mandy Rose alone. They're going down there to fight for the tag team, the tag team division. And you don't necessarily have to fight the champions. You have other people. It's about giving opportunity and showcasing others. It's supposed to be your entertainment, but at the same time, you're a wrestling company. Like, damn, we want to see these people wrestle. We want to see who's good, who's not. And we're not getting that. We're getting garbage, and we're being told that this is what we're supposed to accept. And people don't want to accept that anymore. People don't want to people want to see different. So I'm not against what they did. I feel there's a purpose to why they did it. I feel they didn't agree with the notion. You put them in a 6-pack challenge to be the number one contender for the SmackDown Championship. These are 6 Raw women fighting the SmackDown Championship.
No, 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 no,
Why?
no. The winner was gonna fight Bianca Belair.
Oh, it's gonna fight Bianca. Okay,
Yeah.
okay. I'm mixing in the report that they were gonna have Sasha go fight Ronda, but at the
No,
same
no, no, no.
time,
So that was the thing. That was the thing. So whoever won that, and it was said that Naomi was supposed to win. She was gonna face Bianca, and then on the flip side, on the SmackDown side, it would have been Sasha then going to face Ronda.
okay, but they have tag team titles.
Right.
Why are they even in the match? Okay, that's my point.
Yeah.
Why are they in the match? They shouldn't even be in the match. You taking Dewdrop and Nikki Ash, and you have their little storyline, but I'm assuming you're making them a tag team. Why not have them just fight Sasha and Naomi? And
Yeah.
you because you didn't put the women's tag team title on a Backlash. We said that. We said you missed out on a great opportunity to have the women dominate the pay-per-view by having them be on, and dominate by having the Raw Women's Championship and the women's tag teams, but you didn't. You only did the SmackDown.
Yeah.
So you're not putting them on the pay-per-view to be showcased as the tag team champions that they are. I would have an issue with that. Like, this is the second pay-per-view in a row you're setting up to not have us be on as champions, but you want me to go and challenge someone that you already put over me, because rumors were that Sasha was supposed to be the one to face Flair at the WrestleMania, but it ended
Right.
up being Ronda Rousey. So you did that. All right, cool. You gave me the tag team titles to keep me happy, which we know why they do that. But the one thing we also got to remember, and I wanted to give it back to you because I think I talked long enough, is that we also know their contracts are coming up soon. So we know why now they got the tag team championships. And we also understand why, they have the issue with their booking, because Naomi has more of an issue than Sasha, but Sasha has a issue also.
Leo says, then people want to flip it. Well, and say, well, FTR are ROH tag champions and book them against each other and have one to lose. But when they say that, I don't think they understand why that was done. But you got to understand, too, with the FTR situation, FTR actually lobbied for that match. FTR actually wanted to go one-on-one because they've been a tag team for so long. They haven't done really many one-on-one matches, especially not against each other. I think
Yeah.
Cash got more one-on-one matches than Dax does, but that was something that they wanted to do, and I mean it made
Yeah.
sense.
Yeah.
I mean it's with every tag team, right, or any brother tag team that's been around for a while. Eventually, they want to play on that. Okay, I love you, but let's see who the best man. And there we go. So you had a fun little thing. These are
And it made sense.
but it was the Owen Hart tournament. We talk about how these guys are old school wrestlers. I mean, the whole situation made sense. My thing is, and we're gonna pivot from this in the second with Sasha and Naomi. The thing is this: you take the main title opportunity away from Sasha, and you give it
Uh-huh.
to Ronda, right?
Uh-huh.
Who left and she went and did her thing. She wanted to become mom. Great. The one thing I said about Ronda was in her first run with WWE, and let's not get it twisted, right? Because I'm a huge Ronda Rousey fan outside of WWE. I love Ronda Rousey, right? Especially what she did in UFC and what she did for women. So from a marketing standpoint and from a publicity standpoint and from a monetary standpoint and a name recognition and brand, you are absolutely correct. I'm not saying I wouldn't have put Ronda Rousey in that situation. My only
The
thing is
first time.
the first time. But what you got to understand is the second time around, right? Sasha Banks made it clear when she took her break after what I think WrestleMania was 35, 36 when her and Bailey.
37, 37,
Yeah,
36.
when they had that whole debacle and then they gave it to the Iconics, you didn't see them wrestle for the titles for months. My thing is this: you have somebody, okay, you brought in Ronda, it was a business decision. Sasha was allegedly supposed to win and go fight Charlotte at Mania. Okay, business decision. You brought in Ronda. Cool. All right, so then what you do? You pair her with Naomi. Naomi had her whole thing going with Sonya Deville. That was off and on, man. That match should have happened months before it did, but it didn't. Now you got them at Mania, tag team champions. Want to, sit there and appease them. Cool. But here's the thing. You sit up here, you take my main title opportunity away. Again, me and Bailey wanted these tag team championships from the jump because you know what? We see the women. You guys preach this women's evolution. You preach the revolution. You got all these women we can work with. We see so many women in catering that ain't doing nothing right now on the main roster. Look at all these young upstarts in NXT 2.0. I'm sorry, dude. If you telling me Sasha Banks and Naomi, their only thing was they wanted to elevate the tag team championships and they want to fight any and everybody. Cool. Guess what? Like you said this a couple days ago. Every wrestler doesn't need to be a part of a major storyline like that. Like this doesn't have to be the main event storyline. Just give them something meaningful to do. Because you want to talk about all these up and comers up in NXT 2.0 who not doing nothing. Okay. Maybe there's people in NXT 2.0 you want to get out there who not ready to fight Mandy Rose for the women's championship, or maybe even fight for the NXT women's championship. But you want to put them in there with some established stars. Well, guess what? You want to get more eyeballs on NXT 2.0? You telling me Naomi and Sasha Banks, two of the biggest stars you got, don't mind having the mid-card titles and going down there and wrestling and possibly putting over people that needs to be put over? Naomi doesn't need to put over Sasha Banks. Naomi doesn't need to put over Bianca Belair. She's a SmackDown superstar going up against a Raw superstar. You got Doudrop coming back. You got Nikki ASH who about to drop that whole gimmick.
You still have the storyline with Becky Lynch. That's the whole thing with me. Why have we not seen the rematch of Becky versus Bianca? They had the first match. Becky won. Bianca got her get go, and then we supposed to be the third one. Like, why haven't we gotten that yet?
I'm gonna be honest. I'm not sure. WrestleMania, SummerSlam. You said this is July this year, right?
Yeah. Okay, I give you that. I give you that.
They gonna stall the hell out that shit to SummerSlam. I promise you, that's what they're gonna do. They gonna do everything they can to keep Becky around it, but they're not gonna put her in it. They're not gonna put her in it until probably mid-June. You're gonna start to see them tease it back.
You know what? Because you're playing off what happened at the last year's SummerSlam, so I get that. Okay, I can understand that, but you can still tell that story better. But I get it. But you like you said, man, you have people, you have people that were willing to go and have matches with the younger talent.
Yeah.
This is what they do. That's a thing that people have to understand. This is what they love to do. This Sasha Banks loves to do this. Naomi loves to do what she's doing. So if you're telling me I get to be a champion and I get to go around and have good matches with upcoming people, and I want to do this, I'm doing something good, I'm doing something positive, I'm happy with doing it. It's not, we're not taking over the show, but we're doing something meaningful, cool. But how many times have we watched talent? I'll hark back to Bray Wyatt. Bray Wyatt will always be my biggest point because there's no way you could tell me he was that difficult to work with. But it's not like y'all were coming up with things to do that were very interesting. I won't say Vince didn't do some stuff, but man, if Bray had control over what he was doing and what he was saying and how he's presenting himself, and it's getting over, why would you not let that man do his thing? Like it's always been a problem. I hark back to the fact that what did Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins and them say when they had to fight up against John Cena and them? That they didn't want to lose. Like they argued that like it didn't make sense for them to lose. This is not the first time that wrestlers have went against what the company wanted to do and have argued it. Sometimes it has gone on and it went over, and sometimes it has not. This is no different. I think it's being made extra because of how they did what they did on Raw. They walked on the show, and this is where the unprofessional comes in, because they walked on the show, they handed the titles, and they left. And you could say, well, Mickie James, who applauds them for doing that, she wouldn't have did that, and she didn't do that. But at the same time, her situation was different.
But she came out and actually supported what they did,
and she did. But she wasn't in the same position they were in either. So
Right,
it
right.
was different. So so again, you have to look. She wasn't a champion of anything, and they weren't
Right.
using her right. She was just basically enhancing the talent, but they really weren't using her much. I mean, obviously she showed us that she's still hardcore country. She could still be a champion. She could still carry a division. So obviously WWE has lost faith in what people can do, and
Yeah.
there's no patience. There is no patience with people, and when there is patience, it's with people that aren't getting over. It's with people.
Yeah.
Hey, let me ask you something, man. Uh, are you excited to see Veer? How has Veer been for you since he's been on? Mind you, they've been promoting this dude for 6 months.
Yeah.
6 months they promoted this dude. Veer's
Yeah.
coming. Veer's coming, and we get Veer. I don't know what to say, man.
No, yeah, hey, he came.
Why?
He
Why?
came.
Well, he came. He gone. Who cares about Veer? Because it's not
Yeah.
getting over. Like, but when you have talent that has proven that they have gotten over,
Right.
give them an opportunity. Hear what they got to say. Is it that bad to have listened to what they had to say? And even if you didn't totally agree, could you not see some of the point of what they were saying? I mean, if it's like, but are you, or is it that? And here's the thing that people want to also gloss over is the stubbornness of not wanting to change the plans. But at the same
Right.
time, you're changing the plans every 30 minutes. Every 30 minutes prior
Did
to
you
the show
change?
starting, you're changing the plans.
Okay, okay. Oh boy. All right, all right. Let's pivot from Naomi and Sasha, but I want to stay on the changing plans thing. Okay,
Mhm.
it's funny you said changing plans because, bro, half the goddamn time they changing the show during the show. So they were talking about, well, it was unprofessional because you got the graphics team and the announcers and everybody, they had to rewrite it, redo those. Vince redoes though. He redoes fucking whole ass pay-per-views during the day. Oh, during the pay-per-view. He's switching. How many times have you heard of reports of Vince changing the main event and switching with the
Three
opener and
times
stuff?
before he changed it
Yeah,
3 times during the main event. Like really, he was gonna have the dude win. Then he was gonna have the other dude win. Then he was gonna do a no contest. Then he decided he was gonna have the dude get buried in a crowd of people. It's like what are you doing? But it's okay. It's okay because it's Vince.
all right, well, speaking of events and speaking of WWE, man, let's talk about some news. Okay, so reportedly, we got
Yeah, we talked
game.
on that one.
Yeah, no. Hey, we said we was gonna shoot. You said whenever we say we're gonna shoot for an hour, we shoot for a whole
Oh,
24.
wait.
That's what we do. That's what I told you, man. Take your time, man. Get it off your chest. Let's talk to the
Oh
people.
man, but seriously though, before we move on, man, I get where some people are coming from as far as the unprofessionalism. Could they have done the match and then just something could have happened? They could have done the match, but I think there's a breaking point with some people in this company.
Yeah,
People want to still be in WWE. It is still the top name. It is still the place you want to aspire to be. But man, when you're doing something and you're changing things up and you're not listening or you're not giving wrestlers an opportunity to express or show the best of their ability,
right.
and they feel like you're holding them back, which how many times have we seen people get held back? But dude, I just can't understand why people don't want to understand that. Yeah, it's a business, but it didn't start out that way. You don't
Yeah,
become disgruntled in a company until you've been there and then you feel underappreciated and then you see the actions of the company and the things that they do and the way that they operate and then the constant we're going to do this, but then when it comes time to do something, oh, we ain't got nothing for you. How many times have they been saying we ain't got nothing for you to Naomi for months? I mean, how many times have that gone on? I think it was Lonnie or Kimberly or somebody who said something. She had a question before Leo's question that you had made. I wanted to see what it was, but I
uh,
meant to say something
uh,
earlier.
who did you say? I could
I
try to
think it
look
was
it up.
I think it was Lonnie. I can't remember. Or Kimberly. I can remember. It was before Leo's question that you had announced had set out. But again, it was just, there's a lot of factors into why they decided to do what they did, and some people are just looking at it like, they were just being unprofessional, lazy, they whining and complaining, where no other people who know how the company works and how
Right.
they've been doing things, like a Mickey James, like a
Yeah.
CM Punk, like some of these
Yeah.
other people. It's like, yo, no, there's elements to it that we're not getting, and people are just quick to take that to one side.
All right, bro. Look, so we got a lot of news. A lot of news. Stephanie McMahon has stepped down for the time being. For the time being, she is going ahead and take a leave of absence from her day-to-day duties to focus on her family. But speaking of family, her husband, the Game, the cerebral assassin, has reportedly resumed his full-time schedule back with WWE. Even though it's been reported, and like I said, this is reported, just news and rumors. Can't confirm it. But it's been reported that even though he's back to a full-time schedule, his role will be significantly different than what it was before his health scare. Too cold, man. Lots and lots and
Yeah.
lots to unpack here because we talk about WWE and the possibility, the rumors that Vince is going to sell, who he's going to sell to. If he didn't sell, who's going to inherit the company? It's going to be Shane, it's going to be Steph, it's going to be Steph and Triple H. Like, it's going to be Nick Khan, right? Like, there's so many variables and variants of the unknown that we don't know. And throughout the years, man, WWE, they've brokered many deals to kind of make you think like, when you look at the Saudi Arabia deal, when you look at the NBC deal, when you look at the Peacock deal, when you look at the
Fox.
split, from USA, now you got USA and Fox, and you got so much. You got the whole ESPN thing going on. You
Yeah.
have a lot of moving pieces right now.
International shit.
International, yeah, yeah. I mean, making more money than they could ever imagine. Let's talk about Steph though, man. Being a lifelong wrestling fan, lifelong WWE fan,
Mhm.
what do you think of this? Stephanie McMahon. I mean, from pretty much from day one, Steph's had some type of hand in WWE ever since she's gotten old enough to really be, in the business per se. When you heard Steph is taking a step down and Trips is taking a step back in the fold, just as a fan, man, what does that say to you?
Ah, man. Honestly, it just raises more questions. You know, I can understand Stephanie taking the time off, because when you really look at it, and again, we just watched the Evil series of Stephanie McMahon.
Right.
She has been involved since she has been going strong in WWE since about 90, what was that, 98, 99,
Mm-hmm.
around that
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
So,
yeah. Right at the
and
cusp of
even
that.
right, even a little bit before that, before they really put her on screen. But
Right.
she's been around and she's been in it. And this woman got married and had a family, and she was gone to have her family, but then she was right back to bit. Like, she never stopped working. Just because she wasn't on screen doesn't mean she wasn't working off screen. So,
Right.
Stephanie has been going strong, and while doing everything that she has been doing, she's been raising three girls. I believe they have three kids. So it's like, yeah, man, it's and those kids are growing up, and
Yeah.
being away, you're missing opportunity. So, and as a mother, I could totally understand why she would want to take some time away. Why does it raise more questions? Is because of the timing of everything,
Yeah.
and it also makes you wonder, has Stephanie reached a breaking point with her father? Has she reached a point to where there are things even she believes that they can do differently and do better, but
Right.
because dad is dad, uh, there's only so much that she can do, um, and maybe not, and then coming to find out that a lot of her staff and people that work close with her have been getting fired. Like, a lot of the people that have been getting fired were people that work under Stephanie McMahon. There are people who make what she's been doing great, and they've been
Right.
getting rid of a lot of people. And it's like, that workload, I'm pretty sure, has been horrendous for her, because she's got to pick up the slack, but also try to find people within whatever the new budget or whatever the new whatever is for the company, to where people, they can keep up with the quantity of what they do. Stephanie does a lot, so
Right. Right.
I can understand a lot has been weighing on her, and mentally, like I said, she's been a part of this business. This she is the business. When you think of Stephanie McMahon, she is the WWE. She's the $1 billion princess, man.
Absolutely,
We
yeah.
already know what it is. So her taking time away, I totally get it. Yeah, the timing of it, finding out that she's lost a lot of people on her staff that she's worked with. You know how she feels about the women's division and what she wants to see for them. And I'm
Right.
sure, I'm pretty sure there's some disappointment from her standpoint on how some of the women have been portrayed and just how things have gone and the value of them and the patience and the growing of some of these women. Because like I said, WWE has a lot of talented women. I'm
A
glad they
lot.
finally found something for Rhea Ripley to do.
Yeah,
But
yeah. You
man,
almost forget, bro. You almost forget that she was a Raw champion. Like that seems eons ago.
a Raw champion. She dominated NXT UK. Like for me, that's the biggest issue when watching WWE. I
Yeah.
watched a lot of these people be great at NXT and want to see that come up to the main roster. And I would say maybe out of all of the NXT people that have come up that have really done something meaningful and have continued it. And I mean like Seth Rollins and Kevin Owens and
Yeah.
that have won championships and continue to be in big stories and have good matches and all that stuff. I would only say maybe 25% of them have maintained that. Some of them, like Riddle, have come up, looked it kind of bad, but then found his niche with Randy Orton. You had guys like Bobby Roode, who came up, seemed like he was going to have a minute, but he's been mid card 24/7 tag team, ever since. He hasn't done anything outside of being a tag team champion in a while. And yeah, he's a tag team champion, but we know how that went. So it just makes you feel some type of way when you watch that. And I wouldn't be surprised if some of that has finally gotten to her to a point where she understands the business, she understands what they're doing and whatnot. But seeing talent be as good as it is, not getting their due, um, I definitely could say that that plays a bit of a part.
Leo says, if you ask me, when you look at the new women in NXT, they almost look like the Attitude Era divas in a way.
That's because Vince wants them to look that he wants everyone to be modeled after Mandy Rose. And Mandy Rose, she she gives you attitude era attitude, but she is diva era wrestler. Like Mandy's gotten better in the ring compared to how she started, but she ain't no Trish Stratus. She is no Trish Stratus. By far, she is no Trish Stratus.
She
And
isn't. Oh, sorry.
no, but I was just saying she is not that, but she is a character. Like her character and who she is and her attitude now, yeah, because it's the sex appeal. All right, yeah, you're looking at Mandy Rose, okay, dude. Let's not front ourselves. You're looking at Mandy Rose, all right. But that's the template that Vince is going back to because that's what he knows. And you have too many talented women to be that. And again, I wouldn't be surprised if that ain't playing a part with Stephanie. Just felt like, you
Yeah.
know what, it's been a lot. It's been a lot. You know what? It's time for me to take a step back. My family is growing and
Right.
I'm missing out. I need time to take them away. Definitely can understand it.
And I'm gonna be honest, right? As a male, it's like, oh, okay, all right, visually impressive. But but as a wrestling fan, it's like, all right, that's cool. You look good, but at some point,
Okay.
at some point, it's like, yeah, I'm here to see you wrestle though. Like I need to. We're past that era of bathroom break women's wrestling matches. And my thing is this: okay, because I'm gonna bring up Serenity's promo in a second. My thing is with the NXT and the whole thing with Ember Moon, where she was saying how they would have 2 hour meetings on how to look like Mandy Rose and the whole outfits and the booty shorts and all that. That's not for everybody, and I'm not saying that to be like funny. No, like literally, you could be the hottest woman in the world, but that just might not be your style. You know what I'm saying? Everybody not comfortable coming out here. Let's be real. Let's be all the way to hell real, and men included. You already out there in your drawers, damn near. You know, Tony Storm said that that she actually didn't mind the pie segment because the original script was for her to get stripped down to her underwear and be embarrassed on TV. That's what the original script was
That's
for her.
Trish. That's Trish Stratus. That's Trish all over again.
Exactly. So my thing is, it's like, dude, and then you got Serena Dean, where she got her promo about, pervy old people in the other company, wanted to see women do this and the third. And it's like, yo, my thing is this. If the female talent themselves come to you and pitches an idea like that, that's one thing. If the female talent themselves come to you and, hey, I want to spice up my character a little bit, or hey, I want to, that's their prerogative. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like, as first of all, as a man, and that's, not to get too heavy into that, but it's like, bro, I don't see how in this day and age you could be comfortable telling a woman, like, hey, yeah, by the way, yeah, we're gonna need you to strip that down a little bit. Like, nah, bro. It's like, hey, look, hey, we're trying to go in this new direction here. Just let this is kind of our vision for it. I
Mm.
understand that's not what you own, but this is kind of what we have. And cool, if not, hey, I respect it, no harm, no foul. Keep it pushing. But the fact that you're trying to push this, because again, Sasha Banks, Trish Stratus, Lita, you talk about Victoria, the Molly Hollies, and then now you look at the Baileys and the
Mickey
Charlottes,
James.
Mickey James, exactly. They fought to get from that. That's what 2014 to 2015 was all about. That's what that whole era of NXT women and women in general was all about. It was the shift from the divas to the women's. So now it's like, okay, well, yeah, we're gonna still keep the women's wrestling the name only, but we're going to give it the attitude of the divas era, which is fine if they actually could fucking wrestle. I wouldn't mind seeing you have that if you can actually wrestle, but you trying to use sex appeal to make up for lack of in-ring ability, bruh, that ain't gonna cut it.
Not only is it fine if that's what they want to do, it's fine for toxic attraction. That's their
That
gimmick.
works. That
I'm
works.
okay with that.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
their gimmick. It shouldn't be every women's gimmick.
yes,
Sasha, Shayna Baszler ain't coming out like that.
right, yeah, yeah,
Rhea Ripley ain't coming out like that.
yeah,
Dewdrop ain't coming out like that. Like, come on,
yeah,
man. No, 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 no. There is just some women that are not coming out like that, and they don't need to because we like the style of what they are now. I like the way Rhea Ripley dressed, man. She's that punk rock goth kick ass kind of chick. I man, it rocks with the spikes in it. Hey, I like it. It
yeah, yeah.
works.
And she doesn't look
That's your
any less,
gimmick.
and she don't look any less attractive because she ain't out there showing tits and ass.
Oscar doesn't wear a lot, but I like Oscar's style and what she wears. She's colorful,
Yeah,
she's bright. Like she wears some booty, some boy shorts and the tank top, and she go out there and do her thing. But she got her face, she got her hair. Like she, I like their
yeah,
individual styles. They
yeah,
don't all need to be Barbie like chicks. They're not
yeah.
supposed to be. I don't want to see that. We already went through that, Vince. I don't want to see that again. So no, all I just there's an understanding that if people are off put or if why there would be some friction, it's because man we see the evolution of these women, Sasha Banks and Naomi included. They are by far better than what you were doing between 20 what was that 08 to what 15 we said about 15 16 when they started really showing up. It was like,
Yeah,
man, they are leaps and bounds beyond that. Hell, they're leaps and bounds from Tristan and Lita and them, but they're on that same par of excitement as far as watching them wrestle.
right.
Dude, this is a different era. We want to see different, and not every, and we want to see them be used properly. Bianca Belair, hey man, look, that girl is as country gets. Okay, there is no
Yeah,
denying that. She comes out, she wears tights. She don't wear, shorts or you know what I'm saying? But everything, she looks good in what she wears, but it's her style. Everything is
yeah,
somebody's style. Charlotte comes out the way she looks. Now Charlotte, even for her, it almost her ring attire, it's that beauty like, but at the same time, it's a nice attire. Like a woman's attire should be different. It shouldn't be the same. He said, I just counted. There are 80 total women in WWE on the active roster. Less than 10 now will say people pay to see and can wrestle. Yeah, yeah, there are. There are. And that's what we don't want to get back to. We don't want to get back to the same 6 to 7, 8 people because we're kind of tired of that. We're kind of, that's why people were like, hey, where's Naomi? Hey, what are you gonna do with her? Hey, you got this person. Hey, why don't you use Dewdrop more? Why don't you drop the superhero for Nikki Ash and let her do something more? Where is this at? So no, you definitely right on that, man.
All right, man. Well, look, too cold. One last thing I want to talk to you about, man. We kind of joked about it earlier. The infamous fiery,
dumbass,
the fiery super
dumbass.
kick from dumbass Joey Janela, bruh.
Dumbass.
So watch it, dude. Okay,
dumbass,
so
man.
I'm not even gonna preface this. I'm not even gonna preface this. I'm gonna ask you your thoughts on it, and I'm gonna let you set it up. So Joey Janela, man, when you seen the video of Joey Janela, what went through your mind? And for the people who don't know what we're talking about, man, enlighten them real quick. Dumbass.
This dumb fool decided while delivering a move. I can't remember the move he did to supposedly knock the dude out long enough for him to do this. This dumb fool, he takes a can of lighter fluid and he douses it. He doesn't put a little bit or just enough to get the flame going.
Yeah.
He empties the can on his shoe. On a wrestling boot. Okay? Highly flammable. Highly fucking flammable. And he lights it. Now, mind you, while he's pouring the fluid on his foot, it's not just on his foot. There's a damn puddle in the middle of the ring. And what does this fool decides to do? Not only is he going to light his foot, he's going to light his foot in the damn puddle of the ring. His foot is ablaze. His whole leg is on fire. His whole leg is on fire. He super kicks the guy. They spend more time trying to put the fire out and get the boot off his foot, which it looked like it melted on his foot. So it looked like he really fucked his foot up. I told you, at minimum, 2nd-degree burn. At minimum, he got a 2nd-degree burn. And I didn't see, the clip went off before I saw if he won the match. I hope dude kicked out. Like, I just feel like, man, that was just to pit, like, no, the fans would have been pissed off if he would have took the 3. I think they would have been. I'd have been more pissed off if he took the 3. Like, dude, if you don't kick out of that and whoop his ass and win, like that was that's when you pull a Vince McMahon audible and you change the outcome of the match right there. Oh, wait a minute, we let that happen? Nah, hey, no, kick out of that. Pin his ass. Pin his ass. Get him out of here.
Pin him foot smoking and all.
Man, dude, dumbass. He poured that stuff on his foot and then lit it. And of course, you got 20 people trying to put out a fire with water.
Hey, Leo said the same thing you said. He wondered why his contract wasn't renewed to AEW. Leo, my dude. We here, man. We here today, man. And forget franchises. Me and you today, man. But dude, I swear, man, I'm like, did this fool really do this? Did he really, really do this? Like, did he really lit his foot on fire? Again, I could see if it was a little bit. I could see if it was just enough to get the flame going, super kick him, and put it out. Because you can get a towel and put it out. You know what I'm saying? You could have did something a lot less than what they actually had to do to put it out. Or you could have just got a fire extinguisher like they should have had, because you knew what he was going to do and have it ready. So I don't just put that on Joey Janela. I put that on the promoter too. I put that on them too. Well, that's what happened, bro. When you go to Dollar Tree instead of Walmart. I mean, because clearly, they was out of supplies. I mean, bruh, you see this big ass flame, and you try to put some Aquafina on it. Oh, and not to mention,
and it was a small bottle. It wasn't even a big bottle. It was a small bottle of Aquafina. It was a little mini bottles of Aquafina. You just pour it.
But here's the thing, bro. The bottle. What if somebody accidentally dropped the bottle? The bottle is flammable. So
all the water just go burn up and fall out the bottle. So now you ain't got to.
It's like, what are y'all doing? Hey, apparently he didn't go to a very well funded public school because he would have knew to stop, drop, and roll. That
It's hot. It's hot. It's hot. Hell yeah, it's hot. Hell yeah.
hey,
You got a
hey,
plastic boot. You soaked your boot with lighter fluid.
my God.
A
Yeah.
boot, a shoe, rubber. Dude, rubber burns. That, oh
And
my God, dude.
you know,
It
wrestling
sticks.
boots. You know, the wrestling boots, they come up high. So it wasn't just your immediate foot. I'm imagining like the back of your
It's up your
calf.
leg.
Yeah.
You about to burn off your nuts. Dude, you burn off your nuts, bro.
Yeah. And you already
Your
wearing
ass
drawers.
is on fire. Your ass is on fire, bro. Your ass is on fire, dude. What are you doing, man? Your ass is on fire. Why are you doing this? I get what the promotion was and all of that. I get that, but at the same time, you fucked up. All around. No one gets a pass for this. The promoter don't get a pass. The referee don't get a pass. The dude who took the pin don't get a pass. Joey Janela damn sure don't get a pass. The fans who went to them, they don't get a pass. Nobody gets a pass for this. Everybody is on the shit list, dude. That was nobody gets a pass, dude. That was just plumb dumb and stupid.
Well, with that being said, man, I'm gonna end it on that note, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you once
Dumbass.
again for tuning in to another episode of
Just
the Interesting
straight
Wrestling
dumbass.
Podcast. As
Where's
always,
Red Foreman? Where's Red Foreman when you need him, man? That was a Red Foreman moment, man. Where you're just a dumb. I just need to hear Red Foreman just say dumbass. It just the dumbass, dumbass. Shit, man.
And with that being said, it's yours truly, man, the Tribal Chief, the 28-year-old piece of gold. He is the flyest in the room. East Seas resident Isaac Hayes, too cold. And we will see y'all when we see you. Peace.